Hello and welcome to part number 6, and this time I go into this image here and I give you some ideas what I liked on it and what I have to change on it. And when you take a look here to the 8 bits, this is only for the screen refreshment for this tutorial. What I have in mind to give you first, and this is a making of, so I do not tell you how to do it, I only tell you why I have it that way. That should be a straight line. If your lens give you something else, then maybe you have a look to a different lens, because lens distortion is not repairable without quality loss. And that brings us to point number 2, which normally is the next step. I do not use sharpening in images that I use for camera projection, because everything that has sharpening in it will produce some artificial stuff inside of your image. The next thing that I want to have in an image like this is, of course, in the dark areas, no noise. Any noise reduction, even in camera, tries to steal your dynamic range away, and the details that were covered by noise will be not revealed with any technology on this planet. Then when you have an area like this here, this is something where I have my eyes on, or here on the dark and the bright ones. I don't want to have color fringing or chromatic aberration. This is also healable in some applications, but it's not getting right. It's only hiding behind. The idea is, of course, that we find the brightest spot from the material that we want to use and we evaluate it if we have enough differentiation in it. That can be dependent on the bit depths of the camera, or of the color space, the gamut, and so on. The sky could be blown out and gives me a wrong data here in my histogram, especially on cameras, which is mostly just an orientation. It's nothing really where you can work with. And the idea is, of course, that we really know what we need. And the sky is most of the time in camera projection not really used. We replace it anyway. We have a lot of stuff inside of the picture that we don't want to use, and especially here the lanterns I want to replace in 3D later on. Elements like this, I model them. This is gone, and something here on the facade will be gone, and I have to replace here this wall down, and I make more textures here, and so on and so on. I want to show you that all in detail, and for that I have to jump here to a multi-layer. So as you can see here, I have already replaced something. Just go back and forth and you can see what I have done here already. One more time. And I have replaced here the windows. And when you go to the dragon shot, not to the red basket, then you can see that I don't see the windows here at all. That was work for nothing, but I like to do it just in case someone changes his mind and I need this, and then I go back and change everything. I rather do it at once. What I have done here is as well to replace all these wood beams just with the ceiling, and I have done here the replacement of the bench. I have taken away the trash can. Okay, next part was then to get here this sign in. That means I have an extra layer for that, so I can take it out or leave it in, and I have replaced, of course, the design to get not in trouble with it. Then I have here all these details, these signs. I have changed them to get not in trouble with someone else. And then I have here all these wood beams inside, so I can place them on little cubes. And of course here the people. And then I have here the signs to have a little bit more texture, a little bit more flair in the whole area. The flipped picture, it's just a picture, and I painted here the shadow on it. This would be the background, that is the middle ground, that is the foreground in this picture, and then I have here all these little signs, and then this sign. And go back here to these guys here. I have them all on one layer, and you might say, hey, they are not all in the same depths. Yes, that's right, but I can take a plane in Cinema 4D and measure that exactly, put this in the right direction or depths, and the lantern here on another plane, and this one here on another plane or polygon, and this one here and this little roof here was also on a plane that doesn't need urgently to have a 3D representation inside of Cinema 4D. So the whole picture was put apart, and you can see here the sky is also masked out, and I have masks for everything. As you can see here, the sky comes back in. And this gives me the flexibility then finally to go into Cinema 4D and map everything to geometry. That is pretty much all I have done here. And the beauty is you can just paint here on one image and it will appear in every single frame from the final clip. And with the stamp tool or the vanishing point tool, you can do those things very simple. I don't like to have visible reflections in it, and with visible I mean not to take out any reflections, but to blur them, because in the moment they are blurred, you don't have your eye on them. I hope I could give you here a nice in view to this scene. Thanks for listening. Have fun with it. Bye bye.